Hello everyone, welcome to the third episode of my Anno 117 Pax Romana playthrough. This is exactly where we left off in the previous video. I just unlocked the Equites and because of that also the Aqueduct and the Theater. I also unlocked the same things on my second island and I also bought my third island. Then last but not least, I also finally was able to unlock the Albion province. So in this video, I'm mainly going to build in Albion, but also a lot in Latium. Let's get right into it. As always, I just started to make the basic layout for my city and for my other buildings with the roads. I'd also really recommend that you do that, kind of plan where everything's going to be, because that makes it really easy for the future. I also wanted to make a really big city in Albion, especially for my first island. Usually I don't do that because in Albion I normally have very small cities. I don't even know if you could call it a city, but this time I really wanted to change that, and that's exactly why I built a lot of houses to have a really big city. Perhaps I made a little bit too much houses because there wasn't a lot of place left anymore, but like I said before, I just wanted to have a lot of residences in Albion, so I think it's going to work, but my farms aren't going to be very big. Also wanted to build a little bit more diagonally because that's also something that I don't usually do, but this time I really wanted to do that because I think it looks really great. So yeah, I just did that too. And the very split second that I upgraded some of my residences, Emperor Calidus wasn't really that happy about it. To be honest, I don't really like this Emperor, I like the other one more, but I still had quite a lot of reputation, so it was okay.
The Eternal City hungers, and it falls on us to feed her. Such is my duty as Procurator.
I also decided to build some more production buildings for my residences in Albion. I didn't have a lot of wood yet, so I had to wait a little bit more.
We exert a degree of taxation on the local tribes here in exchange for their money.
And while I was waiting for some more timber, I chose my patron god. Just like on my other islands, I finally decided to choose Ceres because I still think she's the best patron god. I finally had enough wood, so I made some eel grabbers and a warehouse. I also didn't have a lot of workforce yet, so I decided to upgrade some more of my residences. I also finally unlocked the special buildings for my tier 1 residences in Albion, so I did some more planning for those buildings too. And I would also always recommend that as soon as you unlock new buildings for your residences, that you always directly plan it, because that's going to save you a lot of time for the future. I also started to work on my farm. As I said before, I used a lot of the available space on this island for my city, so my farms aren't going to be that big, but it was just big enough to start making some production buildings. Tarragorn wanted to settle an island in Albion, but eventually I really want to defeat him because I really like his island in Latium. That's also something I would recommend. If you really like an island that one of your enemies has, I wouldn't like give them other islands in other provinces, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to defeat them. So that's the reason why I didn't grant him the island. I also unlocked the Medici. The Medici isn't that much of an important building in Albion, because you have a lot of other buildings that grant a positive health area effect. But I also just started to plan where I was going to place this building. I also noticed that my Wader residences had the perfect supply of everything, so I wanted to upgrade them, and this is where you have to make a really important decision, either the Romano-Celtic or the Celtic residences. And in the research tab you have one research thing, this one right here, so that your coal production chain can also use the meadows. I think that's one of the best researches that you can have, so I eventually decided to upgrade them to the just Celtic residences, because like I said before, I think it's way better. And I also constructed some buildings for the wattle and daup production chain. I always place my other production buildings far away from my eel grabbers, because otherwise they won't have enough area for their production, and that's really annoying, so just keep that in mind. And I also made some more wader residences, because I didn't have that much wader workforce anymore. I still had a lot of materials left in Latium, so I upgraded some more normal Liberty residences. And because of that, I also didn't have enough production buildings anymore to feed all of my residences, so I just made some more. I also upgraded some more buildings, because I had a lot of resources again. Emperor Calidus also had another task for me. I was kind of doubting it for a while, because the cheese one, like 97 tons of it, I didn't have any cheese yet. The olive oil wasn't that hard, but because I lost like 5 reputation earlier this episode, I chose to accept it, because I really needed that reputation. I also wasn't sure if I was going to make it though, also with the olive oil, so I just built some more of the olive oil production chain to be sure. And I also expanded my farms a little bit more in Albion, but I didn't have that much timber left, so I had to wait a little bit more. And because of that request of the Emperor, I also started to build some production buildings for the cheese production chain. Once again, I didn't have enough timber, so I destroyed some of the roads that I built earlier and that weren't like really being used right now. So then I was able to build some more buildings for the cheese production chain. I also didn't have enough smith workforce anymore, and like I said before, I really didn't have a lot of timber, but I had to upgrade some more wader residences, so that was also not really like nice, so that caused some more waiting time for more timber. And I also start to plan some of the smith buildings. This is also my fourth long form video ever on YouTube, so I would really appreciate it if you would leave some tips and tricks in the comment section, and also if you didn't like something that I would be able to work on it. So yeah, I would really appreciate it if you would do that, so thank you. And I also researched that one thing that I was talking about the whole time, so I was finally able to build the charcoal burners just in like the open. That took quite a while, but it was really nice because that meant that I could save a lot of area on my island. I also realized that my olive farm wasn't looking too great, so I decided to kind of rebuild that in a better way. I always speed the video up a lot when I do these kinds of things, but I would also really appreciate it if you would like leave a comment in the comment section if you like to just see my constructions being built like this or sped up. I would really appreciate it if you would do that. Thanks. I also haven't done anything on my third island yet, so this was the moment that I realized that and that I started building some more on it. I also spent quite a while to try and construct a nice looking farm. I didn't have a lot of area left to make this farm, but like I just said, I tried to make the best of it. And because I didn't have that much area for the farm, I also just chose to make it as optimal as possible and not as beautiful as possible. My harbor area on my second island was also not looking that great, so I kind of revamped it.
All I'm going to do is take that risk of a range fire.
My fire safety was also really low on this island, so I decided to expand my aqueduct a little bit more. The residences on my third island were also not getting enough things, so I expanded my farm even more. After that, my Liberty residences were finally getting enough things, so I was able to upgrade them to the next tier, the plebeians. And of course I also made some production buildings for my plebeians on this island. I also hadn't placed any buildings for the marble production chain yet, and this is the only island that had the marble fertility, so I placed some buildings for it on this island. I also didn't have that much workforce left, so I upgraded some more residences once again, and I also made some more Liberty residences because I had a lot of wood left.
The greater their devotion to Ceres, the more plentiful their yields.
At this moment I also realized that I didn't have that big of a city on this island, and these residences alone weren't going to be enough to support all of the production buildings that I was planning to build on this island. So I wanted to expand my city even more. So I spent quite a while to make some more buildings and plan it. I also loaded the olive oil that the emperor needed on this ship to complete the first part of his requests. And I did the same thing for the cheese in Albion, but I didn't have enough yet, so I had to wait a little bit more. I also realized that I had finally unlocked the veneration effect of Ceres. That's like also the whole reason that I always choose her, and because of that effect you can expand your farms by 50% more, and so because of that they are like a lot more productive. I made my city on my first island bigger too, because I also realized that the size of this city also wasn't going to be enough for all my plants on this island. I also adjusted the trade route that I made in the previous episode, so that Vineta would also be transporting some marble to Rome, because the fertility in Rome for marble is 0, and otherwise I won't have any other way to get it. I also upgraded the buildings that I just planned in Rome, so that was also really great because then I had a lot more residences. And the Emperor also gave me +2 reputation, which I really liked, because if I'm being honest, I'm not that big of a fan of Emperor Calidus, but I was really happy that he did that, so that was really great. I delivered the olive oil to Diana's lighthouse, so because of that I was finally able to complete the first part of the request of the Emperor, so that was really nice. I also finally had enough cheese in Albion, so I loaded it onto my ship for the second part of the request of the Emperor. I was also finally able to deliver the cheese, and because of that I completed his request and got plus 10 reputation. So now I had 28 reputation, which was like the best of all the governors, which was really great. Because of the marble that I was getting from my other island, I finally had enough to build the baths. So that's exactly what I did. In my opinion, this is probably like the best building in Anno 117 Pax Romana, because as you can see, my health went up like by a lot and my fire safety too. So that was really great. I also realized that I didn't have enough place to build the forum, which is also a really great building. So I spent a little bit of time to kind of reconstruct and revamp my city. I also spent a lot of time trying to like rebuild my farms because of the veneration effect that Ceres has, but because of that I was able to like spare a lot of room and denarii, so that was really great too. And after rebuilding my farms, I also built the forum, which is also, in my opinion, like one of the best buildings too. A little bit worse than the boss, in my opinion, but like I just said, it's also a really great building. This was the end of the video. Thank you for watching until the end. You're an absolute legend. I'd also really appreciate it if you would leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And I really hope that I see you in the next episode, episode 4. Thank you for watching. Bye!